Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of The Disruption. My name is Claire Munde and I'm your host. Now this week we are going to be talking all about how to turn your passion into profit. So many of us have hobbies and passions, but how can we turn them into profit? And is every hobby able to be turned into a profit? Well, to have this conversation, I am joined by Koi Gakuo, who is a TikTok influencer who has been dubbed the president of Gen Zs.
Yes.
You'll tell us who exactly dubbed that name for you. We also have Newton Magero, who is an entrepreneur and the New Mug furniture owner. He's also a trainee at the Equity Group Foundation. Welcome to you. We're also joined by Mwenesi Musalia, who is a performance and image consultant. Welcome to you.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you. Now, I'd like us to get straight into the conversation and understand the journeys of all of you. And I'll start with you, Koi. Tell us a little bit about your journey into TikTok. It's become quite popular.
Yes.
And before we even understand if you're making any money out of it, we'd like to know what your journey has been. Tell us a little bit about your education background and then what inspired you to get into TikTok and how's that going? Then we'll continue.
Okay, so I'll first start by introducing myself properly. My full names are Charlotte Wangui Gakuo, but on social media I'm known as Koi Gakuo, or, the Gen Z general, as I have heard, of late. So brought up in Nairobi, born in the year 2001. Yes, I am a Gen Z baby.
Okay.
In high school, I went to 3 different high schools. I went to Juja Preparatory, I went to Busara Forest View in Nyahururu, and I finished off at Consolatus. University, I went to Tangaza University, where I studied media production, and it really, really did help me, in the kind of the field that I am in right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't, been in the content creation field for a very long time. I've just been in for 1 year and a few months. Started last year in July.
All right.
But things picked up so fast, and it was more of like an overnight thing. Like I slept and I woke up, oh my gosh, we love your videos. But I hadn't initially planned to become a content creator.
All right.
I was just very bored at the office. I was working at the time. So I was very bored in the office, and I was like, if someone came to me with, a case like I've killed someone, I need a lawyer. How would I take it? Me being, Gen Z. So my first video ever was Gen Z as lawyers. How would our generation be if we were lawyers? And seeing how, people loved that kind of content. Now that's when I started doing Gen Z as doctors, so it's just basically satire and a lot of hyperbole in my content, but it's basically just to show the world who Gen Z are.
Okay, wow. Okay, we'll come back to that and whether you're monetizing that and how you're doing it exactly. But Newton, tell us a little bit about your journey and how you started New Mug Furniture and what was the inspiration behind that.
Thank you so much. Newton was born back in 1990. I've been brought up in Pokot County, where I believe you know the hardship. And then I happened to come to Nairobi after my mom was transferred here to Nairobi. I came to Nairobi back in 2016, and then from there I used to work for my elder brother, who used to run a boutique in town. And a few months later, since I'm a quick learner, I decided I want to know how he does the direct importation of good from China. So I started gathering some little cash from what the pay I'm getting from him, and then I saved up to 30,000. A year later, I had my own boutique at Imenti House, whereby during that era, I think the fluctuation of money and circulation of money was good, not as compared to the current condition we're in. So from there, I decided I met my sister who was opening a fast food restaurant along Ngong Road, and then he met 2 young guys who were they had taken the tender to furnish the restaurant. And then my sister was like, these young guys seem to be making money from whatever they're doing. So he told me, Newton, I know you have a business in town, but there's some guy here whom I believe if I happen to introduce you to them, you can work with them as a side hustle.
Okay.
I mostly work online, and whatever they're doing, I can still push it online using social media platforms.
All right.
So we talked on the phone, we had an appointment, we met somewhere, had breakfast. And then from there, I happened to realize later, this guy were not freelancing or they were not self-employed. They are working for a certain company, furniture company. They were just the marketers.
Okay.
And then they took me to their manager, and then he offered me a trial if I can do best in marketing. And from there I worked for this company for like 3 good months without getting even a dime being paid. I was only being given like the logistic money, 1,000 bob every morning for logistics.
Okay.
So I said, like, since right now, okay, I have the experience. I've known the measurement for the dining table, coffee table. Let me find for a way on how I can maneuver on this. And then I sat down, talked to myself, and I said, I've ever seen somewhere a lady with a nice showroom.
Yeah.
Let me go approach this lady and tell her that, if possible, I can bring in a customer here. For instance, you're selling this seat at 50,000. If I bring my customer in and I sell it at 80,000, the money on top does not concern you.
Okay. Now hold on to that thought a little bit. We'll come back to how you now got into your own venture. But I'd like to rope in Mwenesia a little bit into this conversation. I'm hearing a lot about hustle, side hustle. She started her TikTok content creation when she was at her place of work. Employers hearing that may be thinking, and he also saw an opportunity. Now, sometimes we have passions and we don't know, can this make us money? Can you tell us what are the distinguishing factors to tell us, is this going to be able to make me an extra income, or is this something that should just be a passion and a hobby?
That's a great point. And just listening to both of them, it's very inspiring to see people who believe in who they are, what they care about, and why, and are able to take that and push that to the next level. And I think if you've got something which, growing up traditionally, we refer to those as hobbies, which are things that are not under your typical guise of employment, I think we must think of ourselves as holistic value creating entities. We're not just linear beings who go to school, get a job, buy some things, and then live. We can create value in so many ways, and that value, as long as it's appreciated by people, as long as it's useful. I always say that if something is useful, is convenient, makes life easier, and is entertaining, people will pay money for it. So if it falls within these three areas of use, convenience, and entertainment, people will look for a way to pay for that product or service. And for me, when I look at my life and my journey, I've studied law. I have 2 degrees in law. But I grew up in a house where, growing up as a child, I was always looked at as someone who was I like to keep myself neat and clean and tidy. I mean, I'd play like normal kids, but for whatever reason, I would always do it in like a bow tie, and I was weird. And I think that reflected even now when I went into high school and university, and even I remember one day when I got my first job here back here in Kenya in 2009. By the way, I'm the oldest in this group.
2001.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's when I was actually going into university my first year. So someone commented and said, "Mwenesia, you always dressed like you're going for a wedding. Like, what's the deal, And I said, that's just who I am, and I care about it, because who you are, what you care about, and why. You should be true to yourself. And if you believe deeply in something, the passion will come out. And I've always been aesthetically conscious. I like nice looking things, nice feeling things. I enjoy good experiences. But I'm a millennial, so my advent into content creation happened by mistake. I've never been as deliberate as Koi has been. I just found myself being asked, okay, so you seem to know how to put suits together, to wear things. And I said, well, I'm not a stylist. I'm just someone who enjoys this. I studied law, but I'm very conscious about how I look, how I dress, how I speak, how I act, and how I behave. And with that, as time went by, people started coming to ask for advice. And that's to answer your question. I think if there are probably 3 indications that can tell you whether you can turn your hobby into something useful. I think the first is if people come to you for advice on that thing. If people keep asking you to do it over and over, then there's something there. There's something that you're sitting on which you should be thinking about taking a bit more seriously. The second thing is if time goes by and you do it without thinking. How much time do I have left? You see, when you're sitting in a boring workplace,
Yeah.
you're always looking at the clock.
Yeah.
But if I ask Koi to do TikTok videos, she can probably do that all night.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so if time is not a feature, and there are times that some people who are either playing video games or playing football or whatever it is, or looking at clothes or looking at cars or fixing whatever it is that you're doing, if time is going by and you look up and you're like, goodness, I didn't realize I was
Yeah.
so engrossed into it. The flow was with me. I think that's another indication. And I think the last one is if you see it around you and you want to contribute or you want to get involved. So there's something inside you which is burning. So I'm sure if I put him in an environment, he's probably looking at the furniture
Yeah.
around here and thinking,
Very
like,
true.
okay, maybe there's something like
Yes.
it's inside you. So I'm already paying attention to the aesthetics. I'm paying attention to your clothes. I'm paying attention to how you're sitting, how you're speaking. So it's in me and I want to contribute.
Yeah.
If Beyonce was here
Yeah.
and someone started singing, there'd be an itch to go and participate or contribute or do something.
Yeah.
So it's easy then to see, okay, is this useful? Is it convenient? And is it entertaining enough? And then who do I offer that to? And that's your market.
I like that. I like those factors to look at, something that comes easily to you. And if are people asking you, can you do this for me? The way you are saying that you're wearing your bow ties and whatnot, could you pick a suit for me? Could you be my stylist and stuff like that? And also that fire from within. I'd like also to talk about the monetary aspect of it, because sometimes we have all these passions and whatnot, but where's the money bit of it? Because, the realities of the times right now is that we need money. So you can do something you're passionate about, but if it's not bringing money, then there's a problem. And Koya, I'd like us to talk about your content creation journey. Just to briefly tell us, have you been able to monetize it? So you're doing these satirical videos and whatnot. How are you trying to make money out of it? And have you made money out of it so far?
Okay, let me go back to what I said. I started content creation last year, July.
Yeah.
July 28th. That was a life-changing day for me. I have never forgotten that day. And I was very consistent. Like, I was making videos every day and, gaining followers and all that. But I started making money in November. So it doesn't pay off immediately, and I think especially for my generation, I'm speaking for Gen Zs. Let me play the devil's advocate. We like instant gratification. It doesn't work that way. You have to be very patient. And at some point, I was like, "Gosh, I'm making videos. People are liking them. I'm getting reposts, but it's not making any money."
Yeah.
So at some point, you're like, "Okay, maybe this was just for a while, just to entertain people, and then now go back to what you were doing before." But of course, you also have to build your brand. You have to build your brand. That way, if someone looks at you and is like, "Oh my gosh, I think this is someone I'd want to use as, a medium to pass on the information that, if I'm an organization, if I'm a company." So you're watched a lot. In as much as, hey, you're making videos, you've posted on your story, there are people watching you and they're like, "Okay, let's see. I really like her. I really like her content. Her audience is the target audience for my organization also. So I think I would use her." So I only started making money towards the end of 2022. I did not make money instantly. And after I started making money in November, it's just been making money and making money and making money.
But you know what you're saying? That was like 5 months into it.
Yes.
And you're acting, I don't know whether it's just me, but there are people who are in things for years. Tell us about being deliberate, about positioning yourself. You've talked about personal branding. When you were making these videos, did you reach out to some of these organizations, or did they look at your content and said, it's aligned with our brand and we come to you? Because sometimes people expect people to come to them, but you also have to make that effort. So briefly speak on that, and then we'll go to Newton's journey. Did you actually go out and seek brands you wanted to work with, or did they see, okay, this is something we'd like to do, to be associated with, and they came to you?
I was very green entering the content creation space, and now you're getting followers. You need to have a manager, you need to have a blah blah blah, all these things. So initially when I was starting, it was just me. I'm the one editing my videos, I'm the one coming up with the ideas, all that. But of course with time things change. In as much as I'm saying things change, my mom is my manager, so it's not like a new person. But that November, I hadn't reached out to any brand because I did want to reach out to them, and they're like, she only has 2,000 followers. I don't think this is a platform that we can use. So I gave myself time to grow as much as I can, posting every day, making sure all those, you've been called for an event, you've gone for it, this and this. I initially, actually, before it started making money, I was doing like promo events.
Okay.
Like, oh, we're having an event at this and this place. Can you post for us? Then we'll give you complimentary tickets.
Okay.
So also putting yourself out there, it helps a lot. In as much as, you're probably not getting any money, but you've posted and you've told people I am going to be there. So when you show up, even these organizers are like, oh, she's actually done a very good job. Maybe next time, now we'll have a proper budget, then we can pay her and, even VIP tickets and blah, 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 whatever. But I did not reach out to anyone because I was also very scared. Oh my gosh, there's so much attention. It came so fast. So I didn't reach out fast, and I waited until now I'm in a position where I can be like, I've seen Citizen. I think I can reach out to them and work with them because I now have the proper platform to showcase that.
Okay, thanks for that. And Newton, tell us a little bit about now your journey. You got into Newmag Furniture. You were doing the furniture for yourself. Tell us what it's been like, just to make sure that you are relevant, that this passion of yours is actually making money, because as we said, we don't want to just do passions that are not bringing in the money. So how do you make sure that it breaks even and it makes even more to be sustainable in the future?
Actually, in our market today, you need to be very smart and very creative. First of all, you need to know what your customers or what people out there they need of. And you being unique, trust me, no matter how far you are, no matter where you've hide yourself, they'll come for you. They'll come buy your product. So in my journey, I'll be honest, I've been learning like every day. Every day, like during my free time or when I'm less busy, I'm into documentaries, trying to come up with new designs that are not in our market here in Kenya. So even if you check my social media page, you'll realize like okay, we only have like 2 companies here in Kenya that are doing what I do, but they are well-established companies. I'm still growing, and I'm growing my brand.
Yeah.
Like right now, okay, I meet people from Siaya, from Kisumu, people from Mombasa. Why can't you come and open a branch here? Like, so it inspires me a lot and motivates me a lot.
Okay.
And takwambia si jani rahisi. You have a passion for this thing, whatever you want to do, but you're very green. Like you don't know the types of food, the measurements for a dining table. It's gonna cost you how many pieces of food. And you know all the fundis, the carpenters. If you are not around, they're going to mess you up because there are so many challenges. You give me an order, for example. You've given me an order for an antique sofa and a dining table. And then what we normally do in my field, we're paying these workers per piece work. Like, how much are you going to charge me to make me this dining? They are my workers, but we pay per piece work because of the economy. Sometimes the work is slow, sometimes it peaks. So during that time when the business is slow, you'll still maintain them and be able to keep them because you're paying per piece work. So I'll tell you this: ukiwa kwa furniture, kitu ya kwanza, let me just try to explain something here.
In brief.
Yeah, you need to know the fundis or the carpenter. If I gave you this design, he will deliver, because there are challenges there. Someone comes, you had posted a picture, and when you are most of us, we are having this phone that cannot bring out the exactly color for the fabric, right? You've posted, and then she claims I'm in Mombasa and I need that sofa, and you have already sold it, so you'll have to make another one. After making it, you deliver, because the payments sometimes they are done after delivering. Someone, what I ordered versus what was delivered. Someone has to confirm this is the exactly item that I ordered for. So you happen to find out the product gets there and the client says, this is not the fabric I had chose. Just check the picture well.
Okay.
And
Now we'll get to that point of now dealing with these challenges of like what I ordered versus what I got and how you deal with that. Because sometimes I won't pay if it's not what I really ordered for.
Yeah, true.
But I'll come back to that. But there's something you talked about mastery, watching documentaries and stuff like that. And I'd like to turn to Mwenesi for that a bit. What's the importance of getting to know your field better every day? Because you're good at what you do, but then you can only get better. You know, the industry keeps on changing no matter what industry you're in. How do we make sure that we are up to date with our skills? As much as we are good at something, we are passionate about it, how do we make sure that we are up to date?
I think mastery is everything. I think that's where you discover things about yourself, and that's where this thing that people ask whenever you go for employment, what experience do you have? Because you can find someone you can find two 18-year-olds who are going into university. This one 18-year-old maybe has had an apprenticeship in a company or doing just something small in a company for maybe 3 years on and off. By the time these two people are going into university, and this person who started at 15 and they both graduate at the same time, maybe they graduate at 22, 23. The person who started doing things at 15 has 8 years work experience. Right, and that counts for so much, because there's something called the 10,000 hour rule. By the minute you hit 10,000 hours in anything, whatever it is that you're doing, you will become really good at it. You will master what you call excellence, and that's what people pay for.
Yeah.
In Newton's field, the issue of excellence comes to quality. Quality is you say it is this, it is this, it is this. If you say it is something, it has to be that thing that you've said it is. If you say it does this, then this is what you're supposed to deliver, and you can only achieve that if you really have a true and deep understanding of yourself. So I'm sure that most big companies have what you call an R&D department, research and development. As an individual, you need to look at yourself as a business. What is my R&D? Where do I invest my time and my energy to constantly learn and build on whatever it is that I've got? I'm sure Koe is really working on what's the next video, what's the next trend, what's the next thing, where can I attach the Gen Z agenda to this thing so that you can continuously grow. It's not like she's now saying, okay, well, now I'm going to go and do, I don't know, pottery or whatever.
Yeah.
She's you're entrenched in your space. My days, whenever I don't have a job, I'm constantly reading and watching and learning about people, because that's where my passion is.
Yeah.
I am deeply, deeply, deeply invested in the human experience. And so when I come to train or I give a talk or I'm doing my PR business or I'm doing some of the image consulting work that we do for companies, for organizations, for public and private sector, it all comes down to how much time did you spend bringing that out? Because it's not like I can't make furniture or Koe can't make furniture, but he's decided to invest his time in that.
Yeah.
We're specializing. The economy is about where can you specialize? Where can you create that little niche that you can fit? That, yes, while other people can do it, you can do it, but you can do it so much better than the next person because you've invested the time and the energy in it.
Yeah, I like that. I like looking at yourself as Mwenesi Inc.,
Correct.
Gakuo Inc., Newton Inc. Now, I'd like us to talk a little bit about finances. Now, you said that your mom is your manager, Koe.
Yes.
How do you make sure that everything that's coming in is used properly? Yes, your mom is your manager, but how are you ensuring that, okay, I've set aside a little bit for savings, I've put another amount into plowing back into the business. How do you manage your finances?
I'll start off by saying, as a young person making money, I feel the need to, oh my gosh, I can go to Diani.
Yeah.
I can buy myself the new bag. In fact, I bought myself a designer bag the other day that I didn't feel like I needed because it looked really nice and I had the money, why not?
Yeah.
So most of us, and especially us who have started making money when we are young, which is something we always wanted, Gen Z always wanted, we have to have our own thing at a very young age. So for me, who already has that, I did struggle a lot with, financial discipline. And especially when you start partnering with big brands and they're paying thousands and thousands of money. And you're like, okay, if I spend 20K in Diani, I'll have like another 80K. If I spend 40K, I still have so much money. But it all comes down to, I learned the hard way. I had to sit down with myself and tell myself, okay, Koe, we need to get serious now. Because you don't want to spend so much when you're young, and then when you're older, you're like, oh gosh, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Because we've seen people do that, and then later on in life, now you're asking for help, kwa mitandao, and tulikuwa tunaona ulikuwa kwa club ukifanya ukirusha pesa.
Yes.
So I did sit down with my mom. My mom is very knowledgeable in the finance sector. So, of course, I don't have like bills to pay. I don't have a house rent. I don't have water. I don't have electricity. And probably that's why I felt the need to, I need to spend this money. I need to spend this money. But once you actually do sit down and become very serious with yourself and say, okay, I can save this amount because I know I probably have an event that I need to pop up for. I need a new outfit.
Yeah.
I need new shoes. I need to do my hair, my nails, all that. Budget.
Yeah.
Don't just say, okay, let me have 20K and then I go to the salon. Whatever amount they'll tell me is what I'll pay. I have spoken to my salonist. I have told her this is the style I want. She has told me how much it is. I have seen those shoes online. I asked how much they are. Now I know. So proper budgeting of your money definitely does go a long way, because you don't want at the end of the day you've done so much for yourself, but within a week almost 200,000 is gone.
Yeah, I like that. So budgeting, and I think that coming from a Gen Z is very powerful. You don't want to spend everything today and then in years to come we're like, we saw her.
What are we doing now?
Yeah. And Newton, also, could you just tell us, just in 1 minute, because we are short on time, what tips have you gotten? You're a trainee under the Equity Group Foundation. Tell us 2 tips only that you've gotten on money management in under a minute.
First of all, thank Equity so much. They have been there for me. They have taken me through the journey of the training on how to manage your cash flow. And all I can say, for you to get there, you need something that's called financial discipline. And someone like me, as you're seeing here, I spend a lot. So I decided to board my younger brother. Like, if I needed 1,000 bob, I have to borrow. And he'll ask me, what are you going to do with this money? So it's all about disciplining yourself. And then apart from that, you need to deny yourself. Because a lot of young people who are growing maybe in business, they fail because the moment they just start generating money, you find someone buying a car worth 6 million, not knowing that to manage that car, it might end up taking whatever he has made for 2 years.
I think I like that. Accountability. You need an accountability partner. That's good. And to close it all off, Mwenesi, just wrap it all up for us, for Gen Zs and millennials. How do you make sure that you are turning that passion into profit and managing the money that comes with it well?
Someone who is a performance and image consultant will always look at how can we exponentially grow what we have. And once you've figured out your niche and you've identified where exactly it is that your passion lies, and now you can start to monetize it. I think, and this is something that I met Manu Chandaria once upon a time, and he told me, if you can be comfortable, you can be rich, but if you want to be wealthy, where money works for you as opposed to you working for money, you need to have 2 things. First of all, you need to generate at least 7 streams of income from whatever it is that you're doing. So while I am an image consultant, I work with individuals and organizations. I'm a trainer. I also do some work in media. I have a PR firm. I have a training organization. And I have a business consultancy. So there are multiple streams of income which at any given point in time still feed in and tie in with my strengths. And the second thing is look for a way to generate residual income. And residual income is that money that you don't necessarily have to be there yourself to do. So if you can find a way opening a business that will sell in your absence, where you don't physically have to be there. You set up the infrastructure, the systems, the teams, and all of that stuff to be able to now have that. It's a long journey, and sometimes it's fraught with a lot of pitfalls. But the same discipline that they're talking about, if you exercise it into having something that either it's an apartment that's giving you money, or something, or a business that's generating something for you. If it's a restaurant, even if it's a small, I remember I used to have little chips joints all over the place, and they would save me in the time where there was no training money coming in. So that residual income is something that if you can generate that, then I think you'll be on the path to financial prosperity.
Okay, super. So 7 streams of income. I think that's the richest man of Babylon. I hope you've learned a thing or 2 today about turning your passion into profit, and I hope that you will put it into action. Until next time, do have a good evening. See you later.